Hello lovely stitchy friends, I'm Kat and I'm delighted to welcome you to my channel Catkin and Lily, where we talk all things cross stitch. If you're new here, then I hope you'll enjoy seeing my cross stitch updates, and for all my fabulous returning viewers, thank you so much for coming back to spend a little bit more time with me. Now, today is a little bit different than the usual. So it is the 4th of September, I think. Kind of having trouble keeping a handle on what day it is. Yes, it's the 4th of September, Wednesday, and this video is planned to be up on Thursday. Now the reason it's a little bit different is that disaster has struck and my laptop is out of commission. It's gone off this morning to be repaired, which means that I don't have access to any kind of editing. So I was potentially not going to do my FlossTube, which is episode number 30. I've got my notes next to me here, I do need to at least have some idea of what I'm doing. So I was thinking maybe I wouldn't film this episode, but do you know what? I really enjoy chatting to you all. I didn't want to miss sharing what I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. And yes, my brain is a little bit frazzled with trying to sort out the laptop and various other issues, but I decided, what the heck, I'm going to do it the way that most people do it, so there's just no editing this time. I've got my lights and everything, so hopefully the lighting situation will be okay anyway. And yeah, we're just going to put up with rambling and pauses and honestly all the stuff that FlossTube is generally made up of, but I edit the heck out of it. And honestly, I might just find that I don't need to do all this nonsense. So anyway, I'm here. We will see how it goes. What have I got for you? I've got finishes. So that is a very good place to start. I have one finish and 2 FFOs to share. I've got lots and lots of whips, as you might expect. I've got a little bit of new stash, as you also might expect. And have I got anything else? Oh, I've got a new start. That's also exciting. And before we get into all of that, I am still going to do my new little section. So this is the cross stitch ramble. So it's just a little stitchy story that I have to share with you. And I wanted to share with you my little bead escapades that I had one day recently. Now, you guys might remember, probably not, but you might remember, I've got these little packets that my mother-in-law very kindly gifted me, lots and lots of beads that she had in her stash. She's done a lot of crafts, including cross stitch in the past, had some beads left over. So she very kindly gifted me a whole load of them, but a lot of them came in little packets like this. So that all little numbers and names and what have you on them. And I had a suspicion that these were probably Mill Hill beads from kits that she'd maybe stitched, and that the numbers might match up to Mill Hill numbers. And they did. But that did mean that each of these little packets had lots of different coloured beads in it. So I needed to sort them all out. So I ended up having a very happy day where I had to tip each bag into a little dish and then spend ages just picking out one by one, picking out each of the colours. And then I can put them in. I'll show you again my bead storage drawers because I do love these. These are Artdot Storage Drawers, and each drawer has got, do not want to drop these, each drawer has got lots and lots of little containers in them, and I spent ages picking the beads out and matching them up to the numbers as much as I could. And I mean, look, some of them, I've got loads. Look at this. This is some cream beads. I've managed to match that up. I think it's number 00123. And I've put them all in pencil, so if it's not exactly what I think it is, well, it probably doesn't matter. But I actually managed to get a really good stash of beads, and this is really relevant because actually you'll see later on I have plans for some of these beads and have even used some of them already. So yeah, I'm really grateful to my mother-in-law for passing those beads along. I had a lot of fun sorting them out. I managed to do it without throwing them all over the floor. I did find a sneaky few on my chair, a day or two later when I came back to it, but no massive bead accidents, and yeah, I have added to my bead stash. So yes, very excited. Okay, so that was my little cross-stitch ramble. Let me move this out of the way. And then I think we'll be getting into, must be time for some FFOs. Now, this first one is ridiculously appropriate because with everything going on at the moment, as I say, my head has been a little bit messed up. And the finish that you saw a couple of weeks ago that I have now FFO'd is Frog by Hoops and Crosses. Now, of course, I haven't got any pictures to put in today for you. That's not happening. But if you want to buy this pattern, I will link it in the description. And as I say, I'd finished him a couple of weeks ago and he is now, here he is, FFO'd. Isn't he just gorgeous? And yeah, that phrase, that is absolutely how I am feeling these last couple of days. I'm kind of just hanging in there. So yeah, very appropriate. Finished just an embroidery hoop, and I will talk more about this later, but if I show you the back, I've been making my own hoop butts. But that is a topic for probably for another day. And yeah, I'm just happy to have that finished. I can hang that up. As I say, the plan is to put it in the office so that lovely husband Dr. Tim and I can enjoy it. And yeah, really excited to get that one up on display. Now, the other one I have for you is one, you haven't seen this for a little bit, and this one is a finish and an FFO. And it's a Christmas one that I started in December last year. And it was a small, I intended to finish it for display December last year. And do you want to guess what held me up on it? It was the beads. I know, it's ridiculous, me and beads. But the reason was that I felt like the count of fabric, I used a 32 count linen, and I just felt the beads that were called for in the design, there were quite a lot, and I felt like they looked a bit too big. So I finally pulled this back out on Bank Holiday Monday, so that would have been at the end of August, finished it up, sorted my beads. In fact, I'll show you what I've done is swap some of the beads for metallic thread instead, and got it into a hoop. And without any more talking, here it is. So this is Christmas Round 2 by Shannon Christine Designs. And if I try and bring her in, this is the bit, these swirls here were supposed to be beads, and just on top of the little ornaments. And that's what I swapped for metallic thread. And I actually think it looks really nice. And then for the rest of the beads, they are still beads. There's ones in the centre of these and in the flowers. And I've used the called for colour, I think it was a called for colour in the end, but the petite versions instead of the regular versions. And so super cute, super tiny little ornament. So happy to finally have that finished, ready for display this year. And yeah, all sorted. So, phew. Right, that is my finishes, one finish and 2 FFOs. That means, yes, we're into whips. Now, as I say, unfortunately, because of the lack of editing, there's going to be no pictures on the side here. I normally have my info panels up with details about the projects, and I probably won't remember to tell you as we go. And there's a lot of whips, so I honestly don't really want to slow us down too much with that. All I can say is subscribe to the channel. Come back in a couple of weeks' time when there'll be the info panels. Well, I hope there are. I really hope this is sorted by then. Hopefully there will be info panels. Now, happily, I was actually also going back to holding up my whips. I've been, for quite a few episodes now, I've been putting in pictures instead of holding them up. And I'd already planned that this was the week I was going to go back to actually holding them up in real life, just to see how I felt about it. Which is just as well, really, isn't it? Because I can't do any of the pictures. So there's no pictures of what it's going to look like finished. There are no pictures of where I was last time. We're just going to roll with it. That is all I can cope with right now. But you do get to see where they're at. And yeah, there's quite a lot. How many did I have? I think I have, I don't know. There's about 10 to get through. So I've got my board ready. I have laid them all out so that hopefully there won't be too much jiggery pokery while I get each one prepped to show you. But obviously that is all staying in and not getting edited out this time. So the first one I have for you is Wildflower Wreath. Now this is a kit by Dimensions, I can tell you that much. And it's one that I've been working on. This is a really old whip from maybe 2018. And I've been working on it I'd had some recent whip go calls to put days in on it, which I'd been doing. And I'd got so close to finishing it, by the time I finished that, I thought I would push on and see if I could try and finish it, which I haven't quite. I did think this might be a finish today. Absolutely not, for two reasons. One, there's a heck of a lot of backstitch. So much backstitch. It's really bringing it to life, but it is taking ages. And it's not difficult backstitch, there's just a lot of it. And reason number two, well, no, let me show you first. Here is where it's at. And I think that's looking really beautiful. And I think most of the back stitch on the top half is done. I think if I'm right, it's this section down here where I've not quite got the back stitch in yet. I mean, doesn't it look absolutely gorgeous where I have done the back stitch? You can see like this butterfly here, I'm halfway through the back stitch and it just looks so good with that in. Now, the second reason I haven't finished this is that I just ran out. I was stitching on this yesterday and I've run out of a colour. I've run out of the green, and actually I'll show you again, there's a lot. It's all of this and all down here. There's actually quite a lot of green left to go that isn't done yet. So I have started looking in my stash. I've got a little bit of the green and I'm comparing it to some DMC threads on. I've got the shade card, so I can compare it to that, see if I can find one to match. But obviously that's kind of my backup plan. I will try and contact Dimensions, see whether I can get hold of any more of the official thread. I've got loads left of all the other colours. No idea why this one's run out. I was really surprised. I hunted for ages. I was convinced there must just be another bit somewhere that I couldn't lay my hands on, but no, absolutely can't find it. So I guess that one is slightly pending. I can finish the rest of the back stitch. It put a bit of a dampener on it, running out of that thread, and I haven't finished any more. I probably will try and do that and get that finished, so that at least I'm just waiting for that one bit of back stitch then. Right, next up is the biggie. This is Chromatic Dragon. And this is the one, and this is tricky to wrangle onto the board because it's getting quite big. I don't know what I'm going to do when it gets to be actually properly big. This is my full coverage from Pain Free Crafts, and that is where I'm at, which is honestly, is looking pretty spectacular, isn't it? I'll bring it in. I've been working on this area down, not this, but I think just in here and some of these little bits up here. And yes, those are about as confetti heavy as they look. But they just look incredible. While you're in the weeds and doing it, yeah, it's not the most fun. But just each of these little sections with all those rainbow colours they're so stunning. And even better, that's 25%. No clue how many stitches it is. You probably don't care anyway, but it's 25%. I reached that just this morning stitching on it, and yeah, I can't tell you how excited I am. That feels like a really big milestone. Really weirdly, it doesn't look, when I look at it, I don't see 25%, and I don't know why. But the stats say it's 25%, so I do believe it, and yeah, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Right, let's stick that tablecloth out the way and go for the next one. The next one is a stitch along. This is the Jingle Bells stitch along from the Historical Sampler Company. And this is the stitch along from last year, which I started in whenever it was, October or so last year. and worked on it into December, didn't finish it by the end of the year, and I didn't want to stitch on it anymore. But I thought I'd better pick it up. I really thought I could get some stitches in before the new stitch along starts, which, you know, I'm so excited. I've talked about the new stitch along. It's going to be amazing. And I would like this one done before I start the new stitch along. And that will be middle of October, I think. So I'm trying to get last year's stitch along finished. And here's what I'm up to. And it's pretty good progress. I've actually completed now all of the frame around the house. Last time, I'll bring it in. I'd done most of this bit up here previously. I was working on, I think I'd done this one and I was working on the tree there. And then I've come over to this side here, done all of this box with the very cute little stocking. Love that. And I'm working on this box here with the house, which is gorgeous. So there's not too much to go. There's not a box in the middle, there's something else in the middle here, and there's a door. I've obviously got 4 boxes of pictures left to fill in, and then it will be done. I'm really enjoying having this back out to work on. I know it's summer, but us cross stitchers, well, we don't always work on things in the right seasons, do we? And I'm loving stitching this. And I think I can get it finished. I think I can get this finished, I'd like to say by the end of September, but at least by the time the stitch along starts. So, yeah, pretty good progress on that one. And talking of pretty good progress, I'm actually really happy with this next one. The next one is the James Webb Space Telescope stitch along by Climbing Goat Designs. And I've been working on 2 of the pictures kind of at the same time. So there've now been 8 out of the 10 parts have been released. And I'm still way behind. This is my pick it up and do a couple of threads on some days of the week when I feel like it, because it's a really tricky stitch on the very high count dark fabric. But again, I was really excited this week because I've actually finished 2 of the pictures. As I say, I was working on 2 of them simultaneously, and they're both, actually they're not both completed because they're both still pending backstitch. So that's the whole design. What I was working on is this guy here. This is the Tarantula Nebula. So just a few tiny bits of backstitch to go on there. And the other one was this one here, which I can't remember what it is. It's got some letters and numbers and a lot of black. But it's finally finished. All the coloured bits are all filled in, and yeah, so just lots of backstitch to go on there as well. Now, obviously I have 2 hexagons I haven't filled in down the bottom, and I think I have printed the next piece. I think it's going to be this one up here. So I have printed that out ready to start. Not quite made a start yet, but yeah, it feels, I think because I was working on 2 simultaneously, to get those 2 mini finishes, yes, minus backstitch, to get those 2 mini finishes, both like really close together, yeah, it's really spurring me on. This one, honestly, it really does go in kind of fits and starts. Sometimes I'm really into it and wanting to work on it, and other times I just want to put it down for a bit. That's how it goes, isn't it? So that one was doing pretty well. Now this next one, I haven't got tons of progress to show you, but I have got a little bit. And this is The Sorceress by Joan Elliott. So this is one of my fancy ladies that I've been stitching. And I had worked on it. I worked on it a little bit previously. You saw it a couple of weeks ago, which is when I'd done quite a decent bit of work. And then recently I just did a little bit for the Stitch With Me video that I put out last week. And thank you for your lovely comments on there. I'm so glad you all enjoyed it. It's really fun to do the Stitch With Me's. I'm definitely going to be doing more, and yeah, thank you. Your comments are all hugely appreciated. So I was working on, let me show you. I was working on this little box during the stitch along. Actually, let me give you the overview. That's the whole piece. So it's really just this little area. I was working on the box. I'd done a little bit in the Stitch With Me, and I then took this to a Stitchy meetup. And so I actually managed to finish the whole of the box and get in a little bit of this yellow. I think this is a cushion that sat behind her. So I think that box looks stunning. There's obviously a few beads to go on there eventually, but it looks gorgeous. I mean, the whole piece is gorgeous. It's so lovely to work on this one. I really enjoy it. And yeah, so nice little bit of progress on that one. I'm sure I was going to say something else. I have no idea. Who knows? Too many whips. I'm losing the plot now. We're sticking with fancy ladies. My next fancy lady is Gaia the Earth Goddess. And again, I absolutely adore working on this project, and I feel like I've done a decent bit since you last saw it. I think between the Sorceress and Gaia the Earth Goddess, they've definitely been my more focus for my fancy lady stitching. So, Gaia the Earth Goddess by Bella Filipina, and that is where we're at. Absolutely beautiful. I've worked since last time. I had a bit of this green cape done, but I've done lots more up here. Some of these little multicoloured bits. I did say I was going to put in some metallic, and I've done that. Done some of the metallic threads in the floral bits on her dress. And then I actually came back down and stitched on some of the bottom of here, some of the water lilies and some of the foliage that's over here. So yeah, that is absolutely gorgeous. Having a blast stitching that one. I do love my fancy ladies. I love all the projects. There's something very different about the fancy ladies though, and I think what it is, part of it is the hand-dyed fabric that I use. They're all beautiful. I've got several manufacturers of hand-dyed fabric, and they're all gorgeous, and they are so nice to stitch on. And also I think these fancy lady designs, I think they're just charted really beautifully. And yes, I am just wellying these. I'm just chucking these all over the side. Yeah, I'll have to sort that all out later. But yeah, so let me check. I should really be checking my notes, make sure I'm not missing anything. But to be honest, I mostly, hopefully, know what I've been doing with these whips, and I've put them all in order already. So this next one is the Deadly Aquarium Stitch Along by Lola Crow. Now this one, I don't think I've done as much progress as perhaps as some of the others, and as much as I thought, which is fine. I think it's lost out a little bit with stitching on some of the other things recently. And this stitch along is actually now finished. I can't believe it. The last part came out on Friday. So it's all out. So if you're loving this, now the design's all out and you're still loving it, go and buy it and stitch it, because I can promise you, you will enjoy it. If you like the look of it, you'll have fun stitching it. It is a joy. So, fluff on this. Right, here we are. That's the whole, well, it's not the whole thing, obviously, it's very far from the whole thing. But I'm not sure I've done a huge amount, but what I have done is over here. And what's quite nice is I have at least started, I've done most of this column on the frame. And this foliage in here, and I think a little bit up at the top as well. So I don't think I've done an awful lot. I think it might just be that column and the foliage. But it was actually really nice to get over to start working on that, because the frame part came out right at the beginning of, that was the very first part, was all the frame. And I still haven't done all of it. So it was nice to get in and finally start putting in that column on that side, so I can kind of get a sense for the whole design really. And I quite like stitching the foliage. The green is quite soothing to stitch with, so I've been enjoying it. I think it hasn't had any dedicated slots. A lot of my projects I have on specific days or times when I stitch on them, and I haven't with this one. apart from my sal Sundays, so I do try and work on my sals, but I've had quite a few. And you'll see the next project I'm going to show you, that's had my attention for the last couple of Sundays. So I can switch back hopefully to the Deadly Aquarium and get a little bit more done on that one. And you might, if you've seen some of my other videos, you might know where we're headed with this next one, since I said it's another stitch along. It is, of course, the Arctic Animals stitch along from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It's probably the cutest thing I have that I'm stitching, and this one is monthly parts. The fourth part came out a few weeks ago, and it was the puffins. I was so excited to stitch the puffins. So here they are. So that's the 4 parts, and yeah, this is the most recent one. The adorable little puffins. Oh, they were so cute to stitch. I love this one, sitting on the nest and partner puffin bringing a little fishy treat. So cute. So cute. So that is part 4 done. And part 5 is not even out until, have I got the date? 12th of September. I'm done with loads of time to spare. Look at me keeping up with one of my sals and none of the others. I don't know. I'm not sure I should be excited about that, but hey ho. And I don't know what the next part's going to be. I'm so early, we haven't even had a sneak peek yet, I don't think, for part 5. So very excited to find out what that will be. Now, more stitch alongs. This time, the next one is the Happy Halloween stitch along from the Historical Sampler Company. This is all out as well. This was 4 parts. All 4 parts are out. No, I haven't finished it yet. Don't be silly. Here's where we're at. It is getting close, to be fair. And since you last saw it, I think I've stitched quite a bit. I've stitched both of these boxes. I've stitched a couple more letters, another ghost. I've started filling in some boxes here, and I've worked a little bit of border. So there isn't too much left to go. It's not that bad. I had a thought that I might finish this one for this episode as well. Yeah, that clearly wasn't happening, was it? Maybe next time? Do not hold me to that. Don't hold me to it. And last one. Last one is When Life Gives You Lemons. So this is by Stitchrovia. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous pattern. Stitchrovia, I bought the pattern from her shop on Etsy. So many gorgeous patterns in there. I would say go and have a look, but you probably will be enabled. Anyway, I'm stitching When Life Gives You Lemons with my mum. So I'm stitching it for my neighbours and my mum is stitching it for me. And I normally have a picture from mum. Obviously that's not happening this time round, but she's starting from the top and I started from the bottom. And here is where I'm at. And I was actually working on this yesterday, so I feel like I've done quite a lot of progress. It's basically all done all the way up to here. It's quite a good amount since you last saw it. I think, well, when you last saw it, I said I'd finished the T, which I hadn't, because I spotted afterwards I missed a bit of shading. But yeah, I think that's all finished, so I now have make a G&T. I feel like that's an instruction that shouldn't be ignored. But yeah, it's a little bit early for the G&T right now. But yes, I might be taking the advice to make a G&T later on. I'm loving stitching this. Again, the colours are gorgeous. It's on Ada, so it's a nice, easy stitch. And it does seem to be coming together really quickly. Although I haven't seen Mum's recently, and she was flying through. So I have no doubt that she is still well ahead of me. But hopefully I'll be able to show something a bit better for you, maybe as a little clip for next episode, because Mum is visiting this weekend. So I will be able to see it in real life. We're going to have a little stitchy session on the lemons together. And maybe I can film something so I can show you hers and mine. Maybe I'll get them up on the sofa and film a little clip so that we can chat to you about that and how much we're enjoying it. Right, that is all the whips. I think, I will check, I think that means I just have my new start to show you. And it's a good job I've got the picture to show you for my new start, because if I just showed you the new start, yeah, it's not super impressive and you probably wouldn't even be able to tell what it is. So what it is this one. This is one of the little mini kits that was in the Historical Sampler Company Advent box from last year. And so cute. So the Advent box had 3 mini kits in it, only one of which I've done. So I would like to get the other couple done because they just make such beautiful, cute little display pieces. And I wanted to start this one because I was away. I went to some friends for the day and we were having a bit of lots of walking and stopping at some pubs along the way. So a little bit of a pub crawl, although does it count as a pub crawl if you only make it to 2 pubs? I don't know. I think we still counted it as a pub crawl. Well, I wasn't stitching during that, but after all of that and all of the walking, we did a lot of walking, I'll tell you, and a lot of hills. We went back to their house and while we were waiting for dinner to be prepared, I did a little bit of stitching. They know I always travel with cross stitch. I won't offend anyone by taking my stitching. So I made a start on this. I had wanted something that was really small and none of my other projects fitted that bill. So I made a start. It's not the most epic start. It is just the tree in the middle. So I did warn you it wasn't very exciting, but it is a new start. I didn't really need any more new starts, but it's fine. I think that will make quite a nice work project when I finish the Halloween stitch along. That's been my work project at the moment, and I think this one will be perfect to take to work, so I will probably keep working on it then. Right, that really is all the whips, all the new starts. What else do we have? Must be time for new stash. It's my favourite section. And what have I got for you? I have got, well, you know how I seem to have been on a bit of a fabric kick. It's not fabric this time, but I am a little bit worried I found another new addiction to buy that isn't fabric, and that's hand-dyed threads. I had a little splurge at the Talking Dog Stitchery and I bought gorgeous, gorgeous cottage garden threads. I might be a little bit addicted to these now. I don't know what I'm using them for. Well, one of them maybe, but I'll show you them all. I've got Cloudy Day, gorgeous, gorgeous. Have Lima, have Sea Change. Look at those colours. Oh, you can see why I wanted these. Jacaranda. And, of course, my personal favourite, because pink. It's Flamingo. I adore that. It is so pretty. So yeah, I think I'm just, I'm in danger of building a bit of a stash. There was very slightly a method to my madness in that this one, this Lima, I do have something that I might use this for, which I might as well just move straight on and show you the new stash because it kind of relates to the threads there. Oh, no, before I move on, as I say, I bought those threads from the Talking Dog Stitchery, which is a fairly new online shop run by the fabulous Rachel. And I do say, go and check it out. She has beautiful threads, beautiful charts. Yes, I'm probably doing some enabling here, but I will tell you that I have a code, which is Catkin5, and you can use that for 5% off any orders over £10. So I might have enabled you, but I'm also going to give you a code so you can get a little bit of a discount. And I've popped the link in the description and the code's down there as well, so go and fill your boots. Right, yes, the rest of the new stash, well, it's a couple of charts. And I have had my eye on this chart for quite a while. Well, I say quite a while, a month or two, probably a couple months since it came out. As soon as it came out, I knew I wanted this chart. I wasn't sure I should buy it because I had a suspicion that as soon as I bought it, I was going to want to start it. And I do have quite a few other things on the go, as you've seen, and that's not even all of them. So I have lots on the go, and yeah, I just caved in the end. I was like, I probably shouldn't buy this, but I caved and bought it. And actually there are reasons why I'm not going to be starting this super, super quickly. So it is this gorgeous design. So this is the Mermaid's Realm. It's a Joan Elliott design. She does have a few like this, and actually I really like them all, but this one with the mermaids absolutely called to me. I knew I had to stitch this. And I ordered that from Polstitches. I actually ordered it. You can get it on their website or in the Etsy shop. I ordered it from the Etsy shop. Now, this one is stitched. It's entirely in DMC 310 black. Well, that's not happening. I can tell you right now, I am not stitching this, however many stitches it is. I am not stitching it in DMC 310. And they've got it on, I don't know if you can see here, it probably isn't showing super accurately anyway, but the fabric is a Polstitches fabric called Atlantic, which looks really pretty. Oh, and there's a little bit of Chromatic thread in there as well. I think a lot of there's little backstitch details in there, and that's all in the Chromatic. It's going to look beautiful. So, I knew I wasn't going to stitch it in 310. I thought I might stitch it in 3799 instead, because that's that really nice sort of dark grey colour. That I thought would be probably doable. And I didn't order the called for fabric because I figured I probably have some fabric in my stash. So I thought, well, I'll just take my 3799 or maybe a dark blue, and I'll, you know, throw it on a few fabrics and see what takes my fancy. But then I did think, well, I could stitch it with a variegated thread. Now that does make it a bit more complicated to stitch because variegated thread needs a bit of thought as to exactly how you're going to stitch it where. But that could be another really good option. Then I'd probably need a bit more muted fabric, but definitely could still be an option. So that is where I thought something like this might work. What do you think? I'm probably not starting this one super soon because I think I'm going to be debating it for a while. And when I say debating, I mean overthinking, because you know me. But if you have any thoughts, fancy fabric, variegated thread, what do you think would look good? Or any suggestions that you have, do let me know. Please drop me a comment. I don't think it'll help me to make a decision any quicker, but I would be very grateful for any thoughts you might have. Now, I did say charts because you know I'm never going to let one piece of cross-stitch stash travel on its own. Yeah, that's not happening, is it? So I bought another chart, and it wasn't really difficult because, well, it was a difficult choice, but there are so many beautiful Joan Elliott charts that I would love to have in my stash. So yeah, I picked out another one, and it's this one. This is the Dragon and the Fairy. I love it. I absolutely love it. I do like dragons. I think the colours are gorgeous. I love all this sort of swirly bits and pieces on the tail. Yeah. That one was definitely calling to me. A lot of them were calling to me, but I did only buy the two. I just didn't want that one chart travelling on its own. It doesn't make sense for postage either, so, you know, it makes sense. So that one, I definitely don't have any plans to stitch it anytime soon. It really was a case of just, it'll be nice to have that in my stash, and sometime in the future, who knows, I will get to that one. Right. Where are we at? Plans. Plans. Well, you know me. I have some vague plans, and sometimes I stick to them, sometimes I don't. Whip Go. My August Whip Go calls were completed. September Whip Go calls. Well, this was quite amusing. So I checked the first number and it was 5 days on Christmas. Yay, excellent, because Jingle Bells, Stitch Along that you've just seen, perfect. I will do 5 days on that, might even get it done in that time, sorted. The second number out, 5 days on Christmas. You couldn't make it up. Oh, it's just, really, they had to come out in the same month. So, I guess I'm doing some more Christmas. Now, I do have that mini one that I've shown you, but I'm not sure that will take 5 days anyway. But I'm going to do 5 days on Christmas rules. I wasn't really planning on doing it this month because of the Jingle Bells, but WhipGo apparently wants me to go all out on Christmas. So 5 days on Jingle Bells, 5 days on Christmas rules, which to be honest, I adore. So I'm really not sad that I get to do 5 days on that one. I'm actually pretty happy about that. So that's my WhipGo calls. Other than that, it's really just, yeah, plugging away at probably most of the whips that you've seen. Probably won't get back to the Arctic Animals Stitch Along for the next couple of weeks because the next bit's not even out for at least another week or so now. I will keep with my Fancy Lady Fridays, and that's pretty much going to be going between Gaia and the Sorceress. So I'm getting really good progress on those, and those two are my kind of focus Fancy Ladies. So Fancy Lady Fridays for those. Stitch Along Sal Sundays. Any of the Sals, I mean, I do have quite a few I can choose from, but I think Deadly Aquarium for the next couple of weeks. I'd like to focus on that one. Merry Mondays, well, that's covered because that will be the Jingle Bells Stitch Along on Mondays. So ticking off Merry Mondays and my WhipGo call. Yeah, and other than that, Dragon for 1 day a week. The Lemons project is 1 day a week and any time that Liverpool Football Club are playing. So there's the odd weekend match, so it'll get extra then. Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty much more of the same, I think. Oh, now I am going to be getting ready for a new start, but I'm not quite organised enough to show you that, and it's not until the 22nd of September, so I will tell you all about that in a couple of weeks' time. What else? AOB. Well, I did mention I had a very lovely Stitchy day with the Black Country Friends, so organised by Tan, the monogamous cross stitcher. So thank you, Tan. It was just a little sort of get together in a cafe, and there were just around half a dozen of us, so just a small group, mostly ladies. Actually, I think all that I didn't know before just knew Tan, and oh, it was delightful. I just had the best time. Yeah, sitting, stitching, eating cake. Yeah, absolutely delightful. So hopefully I'll get to some more Stitchy days with those guys as well, and see them again in future. So it's a little way away from me, about an hour's drive, but for a day stitching for about 6 hours or so, definitely worth it. So yeah, looking forward to doing some more of those. What else? Oh, it's my wedding anniversary on Sunday. Is it Sunday? I don't know. The 8th. It's the 8th. I do know that bit. It's my wedding anniversary, so lovely husband Dr. Tim and I will be celebrating 23 years. Yeah, getting close to a big one. And as I say, my parents are visiting for the weekend, so we thought it'd be really nice to go for a meal out. And as I said, I'm really looking forward to some Stitchy time with my mum. That's going to be great. I think honestly, this week has been stressful, and I've still got one more day of work tomorrow, and I've got a potentially stressful meeting, and to be honest, I am so looking forward to seeing my parents at the weekend and just having a really nice chill time. And I think is that it? Yeah, I think that's everything. I had mentioned that my videos have been going up on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays. Despite the fact that this doesn't need any editing time, I will leave it going up on Thursday. And yes, I will eventually tell you why they're on Thursday, but yeah, that is definitely for another time. And I think that's it. I hope this has all not been too rambly, and I don't know. Hopefully it's just gone okay, considering that I can't do any editing to this. It is what it is, and I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. I hope you've maybe had some stitchy time of your own. If you've been able to pull something out and work on it while I've been chattering away, then yeah, let me know what you've been working on. And yeah. Now I'm stuck. Do you know what? This is silly. I always struggle with the signing off, and this is where editing is my friend, because I can cut out me sitting there going, I don't know what to say, and I can't cut it out this time. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have lots of lovely stitchy times for a couple of weeks ahead until I catch up with you again. So until then, happy stitching. Bye for now.